And then I'm going to do this one too. So
Is it all right that it's there and I'm going to be looking at you? You can move around a bit.
No, that's all right. They don't want to see me. So how did the show go last night?
It went well, yeah. People like it. It's quite a surprising film. I think people are probably going, what on earth is this about? And that's probably what I really like about it, that it throws people a couple of curveballs emotionally on it. And it was a young crowd. I think there was a lot of kids from Emerson College.
Oh, okay.
Which was nice, because I don't know if it's necessarily a film built for teenagers, but they liked it a lot. There was lots of clapping and laughing, so that's a good sign.
It's probably the only film ever made with the word Yemen in the title, I think.
Yeah.
Or even salmon, for that matter.
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I tried to go through the Moulton, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Was it ever a problem, the title? Did you ever think of changing it to?
I think there was a thought to change it at one point, which I didn't think was necessarily a bad idea. I mean, I don't see the problem with changing it, but that's what the book was called, and I think you can try and change a title to make it more accessible, but I think people try and strategize so many different things to make a film more accessible, and at the end of the day, the film's what it is, and people just have to go see it or not.
Must have been a hard one to pitch. I mean, it's got so many. It's like King and I meets River Runs Through It meets Fitzcarraldo a little bit.
Yeah, it's essentially a romantic comedy, I would say. It's got this ludicrous backdrop of trying to introduce salmon fishing into the desert, but which is a seemingly impossible task. But that's really the message of the film: is the impossible being made possible in some way. And I think I was inspired by a script that at least was not generic, and that had a different kind of message, which stood out from the crowd, to be honest, from scripts that I read.
Okay. So, this 21st century is just throwing me for a loop. I'm sorry. One thing about it that impressed me is it's a romantic comedy, but you touch on some really heavyweight subjects like Afghanistan, and even Yemen is kind of a messed up country too. It's like
certainly,
a home base of Al Qaeda and so forth.
Well, yeah, and it's the poorest country in the Arab world, and especially now that they've been in turmoil for so long. I mean, I think things are going to ease now that they have a new president, but
the Arab Spring.
Yeah. But I think that it's no bad thing to have a film with a message that shows Eastern and Western communities working together for some sort of shared aspiration that is dreamlike and for the good of people. I think that's no bad thing in this film.
Yeah, it's not clear at first that it's to benefit the people. It seems like some sort of
selfish escapade of this sheikh, which I think initially people can go with that, but really, because of the land cultivation and the irrigation and everything, that he will provide water and food for communities, and so it is a positive thing he's trying to bring to the Middle East, which I think people are trying to negate because it's a Western idea,
With namely the guys with the Kalashnikovs who were probably working for Al Qaeda and so forth.
Probably.
You shot this in Morocco, so you didn't have any of the kind of tensions.
No, it's beautiful. We shot in a place called Ouarzazate, which is where they shoot a lot of desert movies, or desert scenes anyway, like every desert scene you've seen in like Gladiator, or there's still some sort of decaying old camels from Lawrence of Arabia wandering around. It's like every scene you've seen in the movie has been shot there.
The story itself is, I guess the guy in the Ewan McGregor character is an older person in the movie, in the book.
In the book.
Movie. It seems like a very unlikely relationship between the two.
They're like the odd couple, and I think they have a rather slow-burning love for each other that happens over the course of the movie, and I think this experience shifts their lives and the way they are and the way they've been before, and certainly for Ewan's character, who has quite a big character arc of starting as a rather uptight, set in his ways, anal sort of person, and he learns to, after being emboldened by this exciting experience, he sort of loosens up and discovers a whole other side to himself, and and they don't really like each other at the beginning of the film. I think they both think each other are somewhat ridiculous. And she's really bubbly and pleasant, and he's not, you know.
Make a joke about Asperger's. Does he actually have it?
No, I think because he seems emotionally so
Yeah.
repressed, you know, she thinks he's got some kind of Asperger's, and he's an odd dude.
The character you play is, I don't know, it seems like you've made a number of movies for somebody you're as young as you are, but like 3 or 4 of them, you're playing like the assistant to somebody who's really difficult, like somebody really neurotic, Prada,
Yeah.
the Muppet movie,
Yes.
the Buck Howard movie,
Yes.
and this. There may be someone
The
missing.
tortured assistant.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. What am I doing? I don't know if it's something cathartic. Maybe I had a bad boss when I was younger.
So you don't have any particular conscious affinity with these
No,
people?
I never even thought of that, actually. I hadn't thought of that.
Who's tougher to work for, Miss Piggy or the...
Piggy.
Piggy is more difficult than
She's-
the street.
She's tricky, yeah. She's bad news. If you catch her in a bad mood, it's unpleasant. And she's kind of a diva and a scene stealer. And she will try and sabotage your performance. That's what I felt working with her.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You don't want to work with another Muppet?
I don't. Well, I like the other Muppets. Like Fozzie was great. Rolf was great. Kermit's great. I didn't find Miss Piggy pleasant.
The new Muppet, I haven't warmed to him yet. What do you think?
Is
I
it
can't
the Jason
remember his
Segel
name.
friend? What's
Yeah.
his name?
The brother.
I don't know. Did you not warm to him? I thought he was quite sweet and appealing.
That's probably why I don't know.
That's why you didn't like him, because you're a misery guts.
But congratulations on the song winning Best Song.
Yes, I felt I had nothing. I mean, I was in that movie for like 2 minutes, so
Yeah.
I can't share in any of the congratulations, but I'm glad for them, yeah.
But you did go to, I guess, one of the parties, the losers' party, which seems kind of
Yeah,
unusual.
George's Losers Party.
Was there a lot of weeping and national?
No, I feel like everyone has gone through that campaigning hellhole, you know, of awards and the ceremonies and the parties and the Q&As and the rallying, you know, and they all look, everyone who's gone through that, I've seen to have gone through that, they all look like a deer in the headlights by the end of it, and they're just desperate for a drink and desperate to be in their pajamas for 2 weeks. That's what everyone looked like at their parties, relieved that it was done.
Could have been just the show itself too. It was kind of, did you attend it or?
I watched it. I watched it in my pajamas actually,
Oh, that's the way to do it,
eating
I guess.
Vietnamese food.
You're doing your next film. Speaking of the Muppet movie with Jason Segel.
Yes, 5-year engagement.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kimmel.
very bawdy, silly, funny movie. It's about a couple who, I think the title says it all, who can't seem to get it together and get married, and through various ludicrous events, they can't get it together. But it's really heartwarming. It's cool. It's a very good movie.
This is, I guess, Jason Segel doesn't wear pants in this movie at some point.
I think there was an option of no pants in
Yeah.
one scene, and I don't know if it's quite. I think he probably was pantless on set. Whether you see it or
Yeah.
not is another thing. I think they did a wide shot, and I think they've gone for the close-up.
Really?
They've gone for above the waist.
Oh, okay.
There was a wide shot.
Yeah, he did do this before in his previous movie.
He has no shame, Jason Segel. This is
Nor
something you
should he,
learn about
really.
him. Yeah, no shame.
He's no Michael Fassbender. But, anyways, actually, I think if
Who
they
is?
nominated that movie, it would have been a much better Oscar broadcast because the material to work with
the
would have been
material.
much better.
I know. I think I heard him do an interview saying I think there's too much rape in that movie or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
In
Did you see
Shane?
it? Yeah. Did you see it?
I did, yeah.
Did you
I
like
don't think
it?
there's any rape in it. It's just
I
kind
don't
of-
know. Whoever said
Just
it.
kind of, he did a movie called Hunger where he starves himself to death. And
Yeah.
this is, it's like he's even more miserable here having sex. It's
Wow.
but you know, it's something. You're also doing a science fiction movie, I guess.
Yes, I did it last year. The Looper movie.
Looper, yeah.
Yeah, it's this very tightly woven thriller set in the near future, and there's a time travel element, although it's dealt with and it's somewhat of the backdrop. It's I can't really talk about it that much. I'm not really allowed to.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a kind of Philip K. Dick kind of twisty sort of.
It's pretty twisty, and it's very, very, very smart and complex. And I play a very tough farm girl, Kansas farm girl.
Oh, not an assistant to an eccentric.
I'm not an assistant to anyone. I own this farm. I run it. I chop wood. I don't answer to anyone.
Do you find that, I mean, you've made a lot of movies, but it's only been over like 7 years you've been making movies. Have you found that things are getting more difficult or easier for women in general?
I don't know. I don't know if it's changed that much or like more difficult, more easy. I think there's fewer great women roles out there. That is the lamentable story that everyone tells, and but it's true. And I think you have to really delve through a lot of bad scripts and a lot of bad roles to find the good ones. And the problem is when you find the good ones, it's a feeding frenzy because everyone wants them, and it's a very overcrowded business. So I do think you've got to wear a helmet, and I do think you've got to really go after the parts that you want. And sometimes you don't get them, and that's okay. And sometimes you'll land one, and that's great. But I've become more and more picky about what I want to do, and specific about the kind of parts, and I also don't really want to repeat something. I do love character roles. I prefer them. I try and find parts that challenge or scare me in some way because I haven't done them, and that's what
Character
last year
parts.
was about. Yeah, the last year was very much about that. You know, to play this girl who lives on a farm and the accent and the.
So you do an American accent?
Yeah, and then I did another one with Colin Firth where we both play these kind of demented social outcasts who are really unhappy and trying to escape their odd lives, and so that was quite a challenge as well.
This is the golf program?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really strange, beautiful movie. And so I do try and be challenged by work and that gets harder because I think there are quite a lot of generic ideas out there and generic typecast roles, and so I do try now to be very picky about stuff.
I think the way to go is the movie, which is probably the funniest trailer I've seen ever.
It's good, isn't it?
I'd watch that movie.
He does so many great things, Jimmy. He's our neighbour, actually. We're very close
Oh, really?
to him. Yeah, he's great. And he asked us to do it, and I just said to him, he was at the losers party, and I said, that's the best thing you've ever done, because he did the Handsome Men's Club, and then he did the workout video with all the girls, which I did, and this year he did the...
What were you doing with that giant exercise ball?
That was it. That was the Jimmy Kimmel workout.
Yeah.
Hump Pilates.
Okay.
And this year it was the trailer, yeah.
No offense to Billy Crystal, but he should probably do the next Oscars, I think. He's really good.
He shouldn't present. Or Jimmy should.
Jimmy should. I mean, Billy's good, but...
Jimmy's great.
Yeah.
Jimmy's really, really good at all of that stuff. He's smart. You know, when people show up for Jimmy, everyone shows up for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, everybody in the movie.
He got everyone in the movie.
Do you ever think of like producing, developing your own?
Yeah, and there's a book that I want to option. I've read. There's an article I read in the New York Times I want to option. There's all kinds of stuff that I read.
Can you mention any names?
No.
Okay.
But there's all kinds of stuff that I like the look of, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think you might collaborate with your husband on something?
Maybe, because he's, producing now, and he's written this fantastic script that Gus Van Sant's directing.
Oh, really?
In April, yeah. John wrote this script with Matt Damon.
He wrote it. Wow,
Yeah. And Gus is going to direct it. And so that's pretty impressive for your first screenplay, original
Yeah, that's got a
screenplay,
lot of club behind it. You're not going to be in it, though.
No.
So you're going to have to write your own script.
Exactly.
Are you hovering?
Thank you.
That's a
Yeah.
wrap. I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
guys.
All right.
Glad you got your tripod working.
Well, it remains to be seen, but I appreciate your help with that.
Yeah. All right. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
See you.
Thank you. I enjoyed the movie, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.